Hey guys, what's up and welcome back. With the Burning Crusade fast approaching, it may be the perfect time to level a new alt or to reroll a class. Now see, when TBC will arrive, which was like less than 60 days from now, a lot of things will change. Some classes that find themselves in high demand today may find themselves benched, while others will step up to the occasion, like the Hunter or the Warlock, for example. Now, with that said, many of you may be thinking of leveling an alt or rerolling a class for the Burning Crusade. And many of you may be thinking, damn, 60 days just not enough to level a class all the way to 60, especially if I want to continue raiding Nax with my main, right? Well, I'm in the same boat. I've got quite a few alts, as you could see, and I have this Warlock that I would really like to level 60 before the TBC. So today I want to talk about boosting a character, as I've decided for the first time that I will pay in-game gold to another character to boost my little Warlock all the way to level 60. I will record the journey and I will create a guide that will go over the most effective, gold-wise and time-wise, ways to get boosted to level 60, what level should you be at what dungeon, when should you move to the next dungeon, how much gold should you pay, and how long the whole journey will take. And also, most importantly, how do you get that gear at level 60 if you've been boosted all the way from level 10? Now, this will also be viable for when TBC is out, as the boosting will not change. It'll still be the same journey. It'll actually take a little less, as in TBC it'll take about 25% less experience to reach level 60 versus the classical era. So anyway, with that said, let's begin the journey. Alright, here we go. We are a level 1 gnome, and our journey begins now. Now, there's no way to level, or to boost rather, from level 1 to level 10. That journey has to be done manually. Once we are level 10, we will start hitting the Van Cleave for the dead mines, and that's going to be our first dungeon where we're going to get boosted. Until then, let's get level 10. Wow, so first thing that I notice is a lot of alts, a lot of people are leveling their new characters, which is amazing. This late into the phase, this late, we're in almost in TBC, and so many people are still leveling their alts in the starting zones. We're in layer 2, and I just saw like what? Look at this. This is almost like it's fresh, like the game just released its first iteration. That's amazing. That's pretty cool. Alright, mission is accomplished. We are level 10. Now this is the earliest level we can start getting boosted as an Alliance character in the Dead Mines dungeon. For the Horde, you guys can start getting boosted at level 7 in the Ragefire Chasm, which is located inside the Orgrimmar. A very important tip, get as many largest backpacks as you can get. Most boosters will let you loot the bodies with a free-for-all loot turned on. Also, most boosters will sell boost runs by 5s, meaning that you're going to be there in that dungeon for 5 runs. So being able to carry out as much loot as possible out of those dungeons after 5 runs is going to put a big dent in how much gold you're going to spend for this whole escapade, especially in the later level dungeons. So get as many big bags as you can. Alright, so the Dead Mines boost actually turned out to be somewhat hard to find. To be honest, I may have been better off leveling the regular way. It probably would have been faster than waiting and trying to find the Dead Mines boost. Now, for the sake of this video, I did eventually find 2 people who were doing the boosts, so I got it done. It took 10 runs or 2 sets of 5s, as boosts most commonly sold in sets of 5s, to level from level 10 to level 15. While I got one of the sets for free, the regular going rate for Dead Mines boost is about 4 gold per run, or 20 gold for a set of 5, which is actually a little bit more expensive than the Stockades. Stockades is the next step in the boosting journey, the next dungeon. The reason for this, I would assume, because Stockades takes a lot less than Dead Mines. Dead Mines is a lot longer run. Now, my 4 Traveler backpacks already started paying for itself. As you can see, I was filling them rather quickly. I discarded the cheap gray items, mostly keeping the cloth and the green items. Overall, it took a few hours to get from level 10 to level 15. The hardest part was actually waiting and finding the runs, finding the booster. My recommendation would be to continue leveling the normal way in the Westfall while being on the lookout for available boost. Make sure to get all the quests from Stormwind so when the boost does happen, you get the bonus XP from completing said quests. Hey guys, I have a quick ask, a small favor if I may. If you will find this video at all informative or helpful, please help me out by liking it and especially subscribing to the channel. It's free to do and it helps me out tremendously. Help me hit my full monetization by reaching 1000 subs. Thank you so much. As a fresh level 15, it is time to hit the Stockades if you're an Alliance character, and Shadowfang Keep if you're a dishonorable member of the Barbaric Horde. I'm just kidding. Horde was always my first choice actually. I decided to roll Alliance just to be different this time. But now I gotta keep up the RP, right? Anyway, getting 5 levels from 10 to 15 actually cost me only 4 gold, as my first boost was free and I was able to hoard and sell enough loot to almost fully cover the cost of the second run. Great start so far. Now, Stockades are best for getting boosted between levels 15 and level 28. Some guides suggest staying until level 30, while others recommend moving on to Scarlet Monastery as early as 25. Now, I found that level 28 is the golden middle, where you get the most XP per single gold spent. Now, same goes for the Horde, with the only difference being the name of the dungeon. Now, I really enjoyed getting boosted in Stockades. The pulls are super fast, XP is great, location is perfect. Out of all dungeons, Stockades were by far the most convenient and easiest place to get boosted. I can't really speak for Shadowfang Keep, as there are no Alliance boosters out there. I imagine it's somewhat the same or exactly the same. Now, runs cost anywhere between 3 and 4 gold per run and between 15 to 20 gold for the set of 5, with the most common advertised price being 18 gold for 5 runs. Now, every run that I saw had free-for-all loot. Now, while free-for-all loot was active, most boosties just AFK'd at the entrance and actually did not bother with looting anything. Now, if you're the only one looting, or maybe there's another one with you, you can actually completely pay for the boost with the looted items. I discarded any items below 5 silver in value, sent most greens to the auction house, disenchanted the rest, and made all cloth into bolts to sell bolts on the auction house versus just loose cloth. I also got very lucky and found a blue cloak that was selling for 90 gold on the auction house. I ended up selling it for 80, but still, that alone paid for like 5 sets of 5 runs. Combined with other loot and 2 necklaces that each sold for 15 gold, I actually made good money by getting boosted. It took me a total of 11 sets of 5s, so a total of 55 stock instances to level from 15 to 28. Had I not been looting, it would have costed me around 200 gold, and it took me approximately 15 hours of solid play to get those levels. Now, 5 stock runs only take 25 minutes or so, but then you're locked out and you have to wait for the rest of the hour to be able to go back and repeat. Now, here's where I've noticed also that you gain more experience per run if you are at the highest level or approximately the same level as other boostees. And you get the least XP if you're the lowest level, or there is a large level gap between your level and that of the highest boostee. So if you do have a choice of several boosters, pick the group that has the lowest level or closest level of boosties to yours. It is finally the time to leave the comfort of Stormwind City and coziness of Westfall and to venture out to the Scarlet Monastery. You know, like the big gnome girl this warlock is setting out to be. Overall, feeling pretty darn good after getting boosted to level 28 and making about 90 gold in the process. I was on my way there. The worst part about getting Scarlet Monastery boost is getting there and back. Now, if you don't care about gold or looting, you can just stay there. You can stay at the Scarlet Monastery until the max level, not going back and forth to sell. I, however, am set to discover the least expensive and the most effective way. I will be looting as much as possible, and taking the journey between South Shore and Scarlet Monastery quite a lot. Now, some things I found helpful is setting Hearthstone to South Shore and purposely dying to the guards around the Undercity to take Spirit Res at the dungeon This is a way to speed up the journey, not to run through the whole way through. Rest sickness or not, you get the same XP. Now, Scarlet Monastery is a great way or a great place to get boosted for anyone between levels 25 and 40. You get almost 2 levels per set of 5 cathedral and armory runs, and such set of 5 runs usually costs 40 to 50 gold, with 45 being the most common median and the most commonly advertised price. Loot is always free for all, but again, most boostees do not bother looting, probably due to the long journey to sell. Well, not me. I looted everything, only discarding items below 20 silver in value, and just like with the stockades, selling most greens on the auction house, disenchanting the rest, making cloth bolts, and keeping the gems for the Burning Crusade. It took me a total of 7 boosts or 35 instances of cathedral and armories to level from 28 to 40. I have paid about 315 gold to the boosters, but looted about the same amount back. And this is becoming a full free ride. At the end of the runs, I was down about 50 gold from where I started. That's including gold spent for trading skills and demon books, and having some stuff still listed on the auction house unsold. I was truly starting to appreciate the speedy auto loot add-on that allowed me to loot quickly and avoid having to click every item. It is definitive must if you want to loot your way into the almost free boost. Now, another add-on that is uber helpful is Nova Instance Tracker. Not that it just keeps track of instances you have entered and timeouts, it also calculates how many mobs each boost has, how much XP per hour you're getting, total amount of XP, and most importantly, if the booster is trying to scam you by not pulling advertised number of mobs. See, up to this point, there is always the same amount of mobs in stockades, cathedral, armory. The booster would literally have to make extra effort not to pull the entire dungeon. But starting with Maraudon, many boosters will cut corners and skip certain mob packs, or advertise larger pools without being able to deliver. Having Nova Instance Tracker will always allow you to monitor all that and call them out on their bullshit if necessary. Alright, once we're done with the Scarlet Monastery, it is time to go to Maraudon. Now, there are a few other options and alternatives here actually. However, Maraudon is just most effective by far compared to the others. Just to list them all, the other options are Zul'Farrak, Blackrock Depth, and Sunken Temple. While they all offer decent and okay experience, they don't come close to Maraudon, they don't compare at all. So in Maraudon, we're going to stay from level 40 to level 50. The runs go for anywhere between 70 gold to 90 gold per set of 5, with 80 gold being the average. Now, it also depends on how many mobs Booster is able to pull and kill. A single pull could be anywhere between 300 and 400 mobs, averaging at about 360. The more mobs the booster can pull and kill, the more expensive the runs usually are. If your booster is pulling less than 300, ask for your money back and a refund. That booster's garbage. Use Nova Instance Tracker to track the pulls. It took me 7 runs and 560 gold to close the 10 levels. If you are looting, focus on rock elementals as they drop elemental earth, avoid looting snakes and lizards as they drop mostly grace, and throw away any items worth less than 50 silver. If you get very lucky, you may be able to loot Edgemaster's handguards. They do have a chance of drop here. Now, Maraudon is also the fastest leg of the journey, taking about 8 to 9 hours of gameplay to complete. After hitting level 50 and selling all the loot after each set of 5, I had 838 gold from my starting 1000. That is a total of 162 gold for level 10 to level 50 boost, including learning all the skills and buying the demon books. That is pretty impressive. I'm actually very surprised it's so inexpensive so far. Let's see if it'll get more expensive as we go into level 60. So the final stretch. We are almost there. Now, there are 3 places that offer best XP per hour between level 50 and 60. The 3 places are Lower Blackrock Spire, Stratholme, and Zul'Gurub. I have noticed that the best XP per hour starts in LBRS when you are level 50, but right at around level 55, Strat and ZG offer more, with ZG being slightly better than Strat. Now, one big key difference between them is that only Strat boosts will allow you to loot trash mobs. Inspired by success of looting my way into pretty much free boost up until this point, I focused on strat after trying LBRS and ZG for one set of 5s each. Now, if the time is more important than the gold for you, the best path is LBRS to level 55 and then Zul'Gurub to level 59. We'll talk about why 59 in just a sec. Now, if you care to save as much money on the boost as you can, like myself, go straight to strat. Now, experience significantly drops at level 50 to 59 stretch, while price shoots up. Now, technically, Maraudon still offers better XP at level 50 than any of these higher end options, but boosters will not carry you at 50 in Maraudon because you will eat up all the XP for other boostees. Now, here is the breakdown of the 3 endgame options. Lower Blackrock Spire offers 27 to 33,000 XP per run. It costs about 100 gold per set of 5. No loot is possible, and it takes about 7 minutes. It is best for levels 50 to 55. Zul'Gurub offers 30 to 40,000 per XP per run, depending on your level and the skill of the booster. Run takes about 10 minutes and costs between 100 and 125 gold per set of 5. No loot is usually possible. It is the best all-around option as it gives very decent XP and also Zundalar rep for your ZG enchants and ZG gear if you need it. Now, third option is Strat. Strat offers 27 to 35,000 XP per run, very much based on your level. At level 50, I was getting only about 27,000, while I was getting 35,000 at level 57. It costs anywhere between 120 to 180 gold per 5 runs. Now, most common price is 130 to 135 gold. Don't buy it for 180 gold, those are ripoffs. Now, runs take about 15 minutes and loot is usually free for all. Best runs if you're trying to loot your way into almost free full boost. Excellent Argent Dun rep and bonus XP, about 8,000 XP per 5 runs from the Scourge Stones that you will loot. Well, it took me 1 LBRS boost, 1 ZG boost, and 7 Strat boosts to get from level 50 to level 58. I paid a total of 1,100 gold to the boosters. See, I did not go all the way to level 60, as getting your raid attunes, getting your good Argent Dun trinket, and few other mandatory must-do quests give approximately 2 levels of XP. I mean, you have to get those quests and attunes done anyway, right? So why not get XP while going through all those quests, getting your attunes, etc.? I mean, that's like 3 extra boosts that you would have to buy. Now, here in Stratholme, you have a lot more boosties loot the dead mob than in any other prior dungeon, because mob can actually drop some very nice loot, and also the Scourge Stones, which will give you more extra XP when you turn them in at the Lighthopes Chapel, and get much needed Argent Dun. Now, you still get those that AFK at the entrance, but it is a much rarer occurrence here in Strat. It gets pretty competitive. Now let's take a look at what 5 runs of plunder look like. We got Traveler's Backpack, bunch of mana pots, ton of rune cloth. So I calculated that on average, if you competitively loot, you can get about 100 gold per 5 runs, making the boost only cost about 30 to 35 gold. Now make sure to disenchant most of your greens and BOPs into shards here instead of taking it to the auction house. Enchanting mats are a lot more profitable at this level. Now, this is amazing. I never knew boost could be this cheap. I never knew I could get all the way to level 58 only paying this little. Now, as the time goes on, the gold amounts may change, but what will not change is the formula, the ratio. If server economy is inflated, the boost may cost, let's say, 300 gold. But the looted materials and items would also cost more, so the relative proportion of looted items versus the cost of the boost should stay about the same. After completing all of the attunements and getting my good Argent Dun trinket, while completing whatever BRD, Strat, UBRS quests that just happened to be on the way, I was about halfway to level 60. So this is something I should have mentioned earlier, but it is kind of common sense too. Whenever you're getting boosted, make sure to pick up whatever quests you can for that dungeon. And whenever you're manually running quests like the Molten Core attunement, for example, make sure you have every other quest that can be completed on the way. Since you're going to be running a pretty much full Blackrock depth run, right, you might as well maximize your experience. Now this brings us to the final chapter, or the bonus boost material if you will. So at level 58, Zul'Gurub Island will open quests to turn in bijous and coins to Zandalar tribe for reputation. Such turn-ins will also grant experience. You can destroy the first bijou for 6600 experience, and then every 3 coin turn-ins will grant 650 experience each. Now, I know Wowhead says it's 660 experience, but as you can see, it's 650. If you are running or if you are turning hundreds of these, the 10 experience can make a difference and result in an extra trip to the auction house. One can completely go from level 58 to level 60 in a matter of 1 hour, just turning in the coins. If you were level 58 with 0 experience, you would need 412,000 experience to hit level 60. 412,000 experience translates to 624 coin turn-ins, considering you also turn in your first bijou, called bijou for Zanza, which will grant you 6600 XP. If translated into gold at current prices, with average coin going for about 35 silver, you're looking at 650 gold for the last 2 levels. Again, this is if you have 0 experience, you just hit level 58. Completing all of the attunements and critical quests, as you can see, gets you pretty close to level 60. So you won't need nearly as many turn-ins. Now, you should also be able to get starting, not bis or even pre-bis, but just good enough gear to not get kicked out of your first Zul'Gurub run, while running the BRDs, Strat, and UBRSs as you're completing your attunements. It took me 4 BRD runs, 2 Strat runs, and 1 UBRS run to get all the attunements completed, and I was able to get at least blue-collar gear score. When compared to just boosting all the way to 60, where you won't have much any gear except few greens from Strat. Anyways, what do you guys think? I would love to hear your thoughts, feedback, and comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in Azeroth.